Hello, you beautiful people of the internet. This is Brandon with Crypto Trades and Tech, and I'm going to take a look at a couple more projects today in our daily update that are setting up nicely on the charts. They're projects I've talked about before. One of them is starting to run away from us a little bit, and we'll talk about where we can look for getting in, and then the other one is really starting to set up. So let's take a look at the pulse of the market here today again. And I was actually told this morning, somebody told me, hey, you're ignoring the bearish signs in the market. Look, we made a lower low, and Bitcoin is definitely bearish. It's going down. February is going to be a rough month. You're biased by your opinion. And the claim was that I was being overconfident about my position in Bitcoin. Okay, so let's address that. Make sure that we're not being overly confident and that we're setting ourselves up for failure. So first of all, I always stress that everybody should have good risk management. That is the key to trading profitably, is having good risk management and good trade management. I've not tried it, but I'm pretty confident that if you randomly place trades in the market and you simply have really pristine risk management and trade management, you would actually probably come out profitable. But nonetheless, let's just look at the Bitcoin chart and see if we are being overly optimistic. All right, what are we looking for in a chart? Let's go to the daily time frame here. Let's look at Bitcoin. So as you can see, Bitcoin has definitely been in an uptrend. We had this very slight uptrend here going on for most of 2020. We fell out because of the liquidity crisis. Ever since the liquidity crisis, it's been on a very strong ramp upwards. We've had periods of breakouts, and then we fell behind and consolidated and broke out again and consolidated. So just because we made a lower low, does that mean that we are now bearish? Well, let's take a look at what kind of trend are we in? Trends are important because we want to go long on support and uptrends, but we want to short on resistance and downtrends. So what kind of trend are we in? Now, on the daily time frame, we'd be hard pressed to say that we're in a downtrend. You see, I drew this channel in here. This is what we were watching. What this came from is a channel that we were in early on, so starting back in October, all the way through to the late December. We were in this channel, and then we broke out of this channel. You can see I can draw multiple trend lines here. You can see how the touches line up. So we were in a bit of this channel here. We broke out to the upside of this channel. And so this was a big breakout. And I've said before that these breakouts, when you see this happen, when you see a long channel, you see a breakout to the upside, one of the best entries you can get is get involved in these breakouts because there's usually a really strong impulse to the upside. But almost inevitably, they come back to earth because just the sheer momentum of that is hard to maintain for any instrument other than Bitcoin and Tesla. So, but nonetheless, it did have a bit of a blow off here, and then we've been consolidating. Now, when looking for bearish reversal signals, what are we looking for? We're looking for a downtrend to be established. Now, we did put in this high. We put in a lower high here, lower high there, and a lower high there. We did put in this low here and a lower low. So, in a very intermediate, we could say that we're in a bit of a downtrend. However, we are extremely bullish on any sort of time frame beyond from the month of January, right? So the later parts of the month of January have been down. Now, this happens over and over and over again. We consolidate. You see it consolidating here. You saw Bitcoin consolidating all through here and then selling off and then consolidating a little bit lower. Were those bearish events? Should we have gone short as we came into this? Well, the answer is no, because we're in an uptrend. We're in an uptrend here. The only time frame that we're not in an uptrend is from mid-January until now. So if you're trading on a very, very, very low time frame, you might say that we're in a downtrend. But one thing to also keep in mind is how has price been respecting horizontal support levels? For example, $30,000. What have we done right at the key psychological level of $30,000? Well, we've held it very strong. And every time we get down there, I made $30,000 a little bit more bold here for you. Every time we get down there, we see voracious buying. As we came into it here, we saw an insane buying and then a wick back up. And then again, back here, and then again here. Now, I've only talked about this buy and sell wall, which I don't want people to overthink the buy and sell wall, but they do happen. When you see a big buy or sell wall, that's limit orders that have not yet been placed. Those can be moved. But they do advertise intent of market participants. And so you can look at those and gauge something from those. And I was noticing a very large buy wall as we came this big sell-off. And when you look at the level 2 tape, the actual order book, you see voracious buying. Buying picks up massively. I actually tweeted about that earlier today. You see that I've tweeted this. I just took a random screenshot of as the sell-off was happening this morning. Price was coming down. This is from Coinbase Pro feed. Look at all that buying. That is voracious buying as price came in down to 31,000. And that is another thing to watch. All right, so that's another way of saying I see a lot of buyers coming in at around 30,000. So the buyers are putting in a floor here. Also, the price is very much respecting this upper trend line. And so, yes, from this time period through here, we may have been in a downtrend, but actually, if you zoom in a little bit, we're putting in, so far, a higher low, and we're putting in a higher high here. So we're starting to reform a bit of an uptrend. Given the macro uptrend that we're in, this is called consolidation. This is not a trend. This is consolidation. Price is not trending downward. Price is simply consolidating. It's a very big difference between a downtrend and consolidation. And if I seem confident in this, I mean, this really comes from 10 plus years of struggling to understand the markets and finally having some real tools to help me crack the code. And I've been monitoring markets for 10 years, and I've gotten sick of being pushed around by the markets, and I'm just a profit mercenary. I am here to win trades, to take money out of the market, and I've got a system now with Conquer Trading and Investing. We have a system that we just consistently pull profits out of the market, and we're just mercenaries about this. So I'm just being as factual as I can be. I'm not trying to be biased with my long position on cryptos or Bitcoin. I will be probably shorting crypto in the bear market, late 2021, early 2022. We're going to flip to being bears or intermediate bears, and we'll be shorting as we get a definite downtrend and as we definitely prove that we are in a downtrend. But for now, Bitcoin remains very healthy. It is in a strong uptrend. It is consolidating, and it would be foolish to be trying to short this market right now. Now, if you want to be very active, taking some off the table up here was probably a good idea, and buying back at a 30% dip. So, anytime you have a 200% run up like we did, that's probably a good time to sell a little bit and buy back a 30% dip. But again, this dip that we've had, where are we at on the dip? We're at right at a 30% dip. That is totally normal, what we expect in the Bitcoin bull market. All right, let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance here. Now, this is kind of my gauge for where we're at with the altcoin cycle. And we're going to see here, let's zoom out just a little bit. We've been tracking a move from 70 to 50, and we're about a little over a third of the way there. We really started, again, because this wasn't an uptrend, we couldn't really start positioning ourselves in until we got a solid downtrend. So when we came into these resistance levels and then sold off, right here is the safe entry, because now we've come back in, and this trend line right here would have been your last piece of support for that. So below this trend line is when it really started to become safe. So now that we're back in the downtrend that we had started with, because we were looking to possibly be counter trend. So when you start looking like you're counter trend, you can't be taking the short trades on this, which is basically the equivalent of going long alts, when you're looking like you might be going counter trend. So you can only start to get back into this when you had confirmation, and these moves have been confirmation that we're now headed to. Now we're back in a downtrend on Bitcoin dominance, which means the alts are picking up steam. Now, Bitcoin found some support right here at 63% roughly dominance, and we're coming back into resistance at 64 or so. So now we're consolidating here. The anticipation is that we'll consolidate a little bit, and then at some point we'll get another leg down, right? And so the meat of the move is really, once we've validated that we're in this downtrend. Sorry for moving around the chart so much. I've gotten feedback. Let me turn this off of auto fast. All right, so once we get the meat of the move is really going to be, we broke down here, right? So now we've confirmed, okay, we're back in the downtrend. All of this area, this is our meat of our move. And so we'll probably want to be we want to be really watching price action in this range right here, 56 to 50. Because in the early part of the bull market, we might not get down to 50. We might bottom out here on one of these trend lines. If I extend these trend lines, we might find some support. But there are downtrend trend lines, so we're going to still want to be playing a pop into these. Quit moving things around. Nonetheless, that's where we're at. We're definitely, the alts are firming up, so we're going to continue to talk about entries on altcoins. Now let me talk about a couple projects here that are really getting some hype today. MATIC, one I've talked about layer 2 scaling solutions, and I thought this would be the next big area. So MATIC at a macro level has a lot of work to do, but it's up 26% today on the Bitcoin chart. Let me pull this out a little bit so we can see what we're looking at. Okay. So on the Bitcoin chart, we're up 26% today. On the USD chart, it looks, fantastic, up huge here. So let me show you what I see, just what my eyes are drawn to. I want a horizontal line here. So that area of support, now we're probably well past that. I don't think we're coming back to that area of support at 2 cents. So over here at 3 cents, now we've had a really strong move. So if you're trading versus the US dollar, taking a position on a retest and resumption off of that 3 cent level, 0.36 would be maybe something to look at. And we've had some nice consolidation all through here. Again, MATIC is a layer 2 scaling solution. It primarily they work with the Ethereum blockchain, but they're actually blockchain agnostic. And we'll talk about the technology here in a minute. But take a look at this level. So this is kind of a bottoming pattern. We're in a downtrend. Let's just make sure that we all understand that this is still in a downtrend. And what my eyes are drawn to here are these touches here. You see these touches? So the safe entry would be to wait until we get outside of that. However, you could probably start to take some aggressive entries before that point. Now we have another downtrend level. Let's make this line a little bit lighter. We have another little angle here that I can see that we were tracking, and we've broken out of that more steep angle. But a pretty steep downtrend going on there. You see those touches. And then now we've kind of bounced out of that. So now we're starting to look like we might be starting a counter trend play. Let's zoom in. Let's go to the 4 hour. That was a 12 hour to give us kind of a macro view. Let's zoom into the 4 hour. You can see how wiki these moves are. It's a lot of wicks. All right, so we're starting to maybe get hints of a uptrend channel forming, and perhaps we did a breakout of the top end of this uptrend channel, which is a great move to be a part of if we were watching this closer. Now I was watching this. I can't trade this on Kraken as far as I'm aware, so I haven't been too actively watching this, but I did want to bring this project up, and for anybody who was able to trade it. All right, so if we extend this shorter term trend line up here, we can see that maybe we're coming into some resistance, which would be great if we came into some resistance and gave this thing a minute to cool off. Come into here, get some rejection, find some support, and then maybe look to position ourselves on this 123 Satoshi level. That might be a good place to look to either buy as we come into that. This trend line as well, this concurrent trend line, would be great if if price action would drop us into this area and then back up. But we'll watch it as we see. But I would wait for price to come back into one of these and then resume out, and then maybe take a position on a resumption out of there. And this is the MATIC Bitcoin chart. So that's what I just see. I'm looking at this. Let's talk about MATIC for a second. Let's just go to I'm at their website. I pulled up the About Us. And they say that they are, transactions today are slow, expensive, and complex. So they're aiming to be a layer 2 blockchain scaling solution that they have a rabid focus on the customer experience. Now they've assembled quite an impressive team as well. Now here I have a little blog post. What is the MATIC network? And you can see here very succinctly they say that MATIC network provides scalable, secure, and instant Ethereum transactions using plasma side chains and a proof of stake network. So they have their own proof of stake network. Now I just realized that people may not understand what the heck plasma is. Let's take a quick look at this. So obviously side chain is an alternate blockchain to the parent chain, but plasma is a little bit different than a straight side chain. You can see here that plasma is a framework of child chains. It is a scaling solution for Ethereum or any blockchain for that matter. The main difference between a plasma chain and a side chain is that the root of each plasma chain block is published to Ethereum or whatever other layer 1 blockchain you're working with. Now, I'll post a link to this article here below that explains the difference between a sidechains, plasma, and then sharding, which are all three different things. The three different ways to accomplish a very similar goal. So you see here, though, in summary, all three of these work as called here a hub and spoke framework. So they're all similar in a lot of ways, and there's a kind of a parent-child relationship. But one of the main differences, as it calls out here, that plasma is a more evolved, more secure form of regular sidechain. It's kind of debatable, but in theory they are more secure, and they're also non-custodial. Now the MATIC sidechain also, or the plasma, is a proof of stake network all into itself. And so some of the main features are, again, scalability, the fact that it's able to help scale the layer 1 base chain, which would be Ethereum for the most part. It helps it to scale via low cost and secure transactions on the sidechain, up to 10,000 transactions per second on a single sidechain in their testnet. Now, one of the main things that MATIC, the way that they describe their solution, is that it's kind of like a lower court and a high court. That's how they've described it in some of their papers. So basically, you can think of MATIC as kind of a lower court that handles a lot of the cases, and only the main cases are rolled up to the Supreme Court, which would be the Ethereum main blockchain or whatever layer 1 solution they're working with. Also, just real fast, NFTs are becoming a growing topic, and so just know that the MATIC sidechain has recently added support for ERC 721 NFT or non-fungible tokens. Now let's take a look at our second project that's getting some hype here, Algorand, and I believe it was Gus. His YouTube channel is Truth Capital, but he brought up that he was buying some more algo, so I went and take a look at the chart, and I think he's on to something here, so wanted to highlight what he brought up to the group. I hadn't been watching algo super closely, but on the USD chart, again, I'm drawn to this area of support right here. Let's make that a little thinner. Hope you can still see that okay. And we're coming into, obviously, some resistance. We've previously spiked to 75 cents, it looks like. So we're now kind of between that range currently. So algo looks like it's maybe setting up for a nice move here. Let's go to the Bitcoin chart. Now, again, algo was in a strong downtrend like many other altcoins versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin's been very, very strong. Obviously, we see that there's a bit of a downtrend that's kind of out of the scope of what we're looking at here. Let's see if we can find a level. So we've obviously kind of broken, and we've had some strong, there you go, you can kind of see there's your downtrend there that was broken, came back to test it. And so now we're looking to go counter trend here. And if we zoom in, let's go to the 4 hour, zoom in on the algo Bitcoin chart. This is the one I prefer trading on these charts. We're starting to again here form possibly a counter trend move. And so the levels to watch here on algo versus Bitcoin. Let's see here. So we definitely have some resistance we're coming into right now, which is great, which gives us an opportunity to continue to monitor this and look at setups. But it's coming into resistance right now, right there at about 1,900 Satoshis. And then we have a kind of a, to me, fairly clear support and resistance. You see the touches there and over here. And then these top wicks here, obviously that's going to provide some good support if it does fall out of this channel that we're in. So maybe what we can do here, if you're looking to trade this name versus Bitcoin, see if this channel, this very kind of parabolic, let's just the bottom trend line is what we just need to watch for now. Let's see if this gets respected, or if we fall out of this after fighting with this resistance. But if we take out this 1,900 resistance, then our next little bit of resistance is right up here at 2,200. But maybe we can look to start to attack this to the long side. If we break out of this, come back to retest that level and the trend line, and then show resumption off. Now you might want to be quick about taking a little bit of profit, depending on how price reacts at 2,200 Satoshis. The safer position, the safer trade would probably be for this to really show that we're going to resume. This is going to look, this area looks like it's probably going to be pretty strong resistance. You see all the resistance, it acted as support, and then it broke. So the 2,600 level is going to be really the key area to be watching. So Now, if you wanted to play it safe, just keep an eye on this name until we get it back above here. Now, as far as Algorand, what it is, it's a layer 1 solution. So we talked about MATIC, which is a layer 2 scaling solution, which is going to help Ethereum and other like layer 1 solutions to scale. Now, Algorand is aiming to be a very fast and capable layer 1 blockchain. So you see here, Algorand features capabilities in layer 1. So what they have is their, I think it's Algorand smart contracts, ASC1. So trustless program, so smart contracts on Algorand. It's going to be a fully functional layer 1 protocol. But you see here that the base layer, they were able to get over 1,000 transactions per second. And transactions are final under 5 seconds. So it's a very, very fast layer 1 solution. So the founder is a very visible founder, is Silvio Macaulay. He's a MIT professor. You see here, he's got quite the history of the space. You can see this article from Wikipedia here about zero knowledge proofs. You see that he's credited back in 1985 with being a creators of the zero knowledge proof system. So in short, Algorand has a very well-known founder. He's obviously been around, influential figure in the cryptography space, cryptocurrency space since way back in the 80s. So this is important when you kind of consider, it's important for a lot of these layer 1 solutions are going to have a lot of capabilities, but it's a matter of who gets the adoption and interest from significant parties. And so having somebody who's a well-known, influential figure in the space is going to help developers to trust the solution. And a while back, Algorand was also, the USDC coins backed by Circle is available on Algorand. So you see here, Algorand would be the first blockchain that with a stablecoin implementation based on the framework that is powered by USDC. So USDC for Algorand now available in your Circle account. So this is another reason, by the way, if you're looking to move cryptocurrencies in the height of the bull market and the other networks may be very congested like Bitcoin and Ethereum, if you're looking to move around some money, USDC, since it has the backing of this very fast and nimble layer 1 solution Algorand, it's available on that network, might be a good option. Well, that's it for our update today. Those are 2 projects. MATIC, which is a layer 2 scaling solution, which is going to be a big, big topic this year as Ethereum continues to work on its platform upgrades. We're going to need solutions to help the network scale. And ultimately, the solution may not be for layer 1 networks to be able to do everything themselves. Maybe some abstraction with layer 2 networks is the long-term answer anyhow. And then Algorand is a very agile, very fast layer 1 blockchain platform solution. It's got some adoption with Circle and USDC today. So this has the potential also to make some really big moves. So I hope this video was useful. If you found it useful, please like and subscribe. Share this content with your friends and family. We're all about trying to help people who are new into crypto be guided in the right way, to not be distracted by a lot of either the hype, the FOMO, or the FUD, but to be grounded in a solid trading reality, solid technical analysis, solid technology understanding. We want everybody who's here with us to have a good understanding of the investments they're making. But again, this is not financial advice, so please be aware that I'm not a financial advisor. This is just my opinion, and this is what I'm seeing out there in the crypto land. All right, thank you, everybody. Take care.